I want to go back to this. When you add a new destination folder, the name, if you notice before I put an ABC, that just identifies it in this program. It doesn't change the location. So if you wanted the storage folder to be something else, you put ABC there, and then next, and then next. Okay. Now this one we know is stored in here. This one here, I'm going to make that the default. And that's how, now we're going to take a look at the file. And here we go, my sorted music file folder ABC. And they have the artist and the duplicates. Let's look in the duplicates first. 2 songs that may or may not be duplicates. Depends on if it's a different version or not. And Hooked on a Feeling. This. And notice that this one, go back to artists, and this is how it lays out all the files. And you can go down and look at different ones, at how they structure these things. Pretty simple. And then you have, I've got one song in there. You got AC/DC, there they are. Ace. How Long. Adele. And you notice my file names are different. Adele, Make You Feel My Love, and all that. And that's using the simple format, puts in the name and the title of the song. Back here, if you noticed, the file and folder names. If I'm using a simple name pattern, it's using just that. It's not using the track number, advanced name pattern, and artist, or any of that other stuff. It creates a separate subfolder named artists and uses simple pattern, not this advanced pattern down here, where it would break down and say, break it down by artist for artist, release year, and album, and have all that down there. Same with compilation. If I'm using the simple patterns, these advanced patterns do not apply. And if you're going to make a compilation, if you're using a simple pattern, it's not going to create the album and the disc number. And the single, same thing. Now you notice before I had put in the artist and the title and some other stuff, show you, but I didn't save it. So simple name pattern, and it breaks it down by artist. But what if I did use the advanced name patterns and used the advanced name pattern? In compilation, we'll do the same thing. Use the advanced name, the advanced name, the single track advanced. It's just that you could pretty much the same thing, so we don't have to do that. An advanced name, we could do that, the same thing on the single tracks. So let's go ahead and reprocess. Say OK, and reprocess the files, and I'll show you where we are then. So I'm going to reprocess them in a different way. I go back to, I'm going to use the advanced with a simple name pattern. And I'm going to simple. So let's look at it now. With the advanced, it has all that. ABBA, it breaks it down into voyage, is 2, and does that. Adele, it does all this stuff. It renames it. And I'm importing some more. And let's see, with the name patterns, which I have advanced and advanced, and advanced on this, and single track, which will be most of them, I think, which you can add whatever you want. This defaults to artist title. It makes a new subfolder within the destination folder. And advanced, both same thing. And that's as simple as it is. It comes out in this style. Let's say this singer had this album, and it numbers them this way, and so forth. Harry Styles tries to break them down. If it knows it, if it misidentifies something, it's going to, something else, it's going to put it someplace else. And it's just the way it is. I've got all these, and most of mine seem to be single, not compilations, album pattern. Let's go ahead and get those moved. And there we are back here, artists, breaking them down that way. Sort by there. You can see how this plays out. And there it is. And it might have the wrong album, or it might be the right album, or it might have the wrong date or the wrong genre. So you have to pay attention to that. In this example here, it's got this song, and it says it's a duplicate. And one or two of these are probably duplicates, but might be a better version. I have to check them. One of them may be live. Like this one here, I know is the original. And the one that's in the folder that's not marked as not duplicate, that's the remix. And it didn't take that into consideration. Let's go back and look. Here we are. And it's named it as 03. And somebody that I used to know. I know for a fact, because I've done this before, that this is a remix. And from my original importing files, and I'll show you that now, here, this is the one it marked as the original when it's this one. But I have in here the title, somebody that I used to know, remix. It was in the metadata. 2 is a remix, but it's still put the mix as the original and the original as a duplicate. Sometimes you're going to have duplicates that are different, so you got to catch those things. And there's going to be some mistakes no matter what you do. This art pop and all this other stuff. But as you can tell, it's renamed my single song. It knows, it doesn't think it's part of an album or a compilation. It named it as the artist and the song. And then it did this. That's the album, Making Mirrors, and then it put in the track number and all that. And I'm not a big fan of this at all. It might work for you depending on your music collection, but not for me. My file names are specific: artist, title, year, and genre. Might not always get the genre right, but it's part of how I can easily determine if something's like this without looking at the metadata here. And I'll show you how to do this without renaming it. So your files will, once can pass through the system, it won't rename it. And you have to define the file name. Okay, so I reprocessed them again, scratch, and I'm going to copy to the destination folder. Like I said, I don't want all this. I don't like that. So I'm going to go in and my album pattern name, I'm going to quite simply put in, I could say simple pattern, and that's it. And it's an artist, and I can take it as a simple pattern back. In my compilation, I can do that, go back to simple, go back to simple, and this single track, I could put in artist and title, but what if I want to keep my file names the way they are? Well, I can go to advanced. And I already have in my file name artist, title, year, and genre. So I can come here and I can put in basic tags. I would put in this dash, and then I would put in the year only, dash, and then I would put in genre. And I could copy this and actually put that in every single paste. There we go. And it would keep my file names the way I have it. The problem with that is, what if during the process of checking the metadata, it got the wrong year or the wrong genre? Then it's going to save my file with a different genre, or maybe year, than I have in my original file name. If you remember, my file names are already set up this way. And yes, maybe I've got the genre wrong or don't have them all perfect. But for the year too, it may have picked the wrong version of something. But you never know. So you'd have to go through and look at all of them, make sure everything's right first. And by doing that, I can create and here disk 2 is ABBA still disk 2. Let's go back and look at that again. And that's the album name pattern. I don't want that. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to get rid of this secondary one, and I'm going to do the same thing. Paste. But I pasted up here. Say OK. There, ABBA. It's just disappeared the other things. But it broke them down like this. We don't want that. We want them all to be under the same folder, like this one. So what I want to do there is take all this off. Down here, because this is just about the folder. There. This is a folder name, not the file name. So let's see what happens now. There we go. ABBA's all in one folder, and it could be output nicely. But what if, like I said, I did not want this program renaming my file? I want to keep them exactly the way they were, and later, after I've updated and checked all the genres, made sure everything's right, I could rerun this again and output it without using the automatic thing here. I could output it again. It's now updated like this, because I know everything's correct. But what if I want to keep my file name the way they are? Well, we'll do this. Instead of selecting this kind of stuff, we're going to go all the way down to file attributes. Now I'm going to say file name without extension. It already has the MP3. It's not going to change that. I copy that. Okay. That's my file name. Go down to the same thing with the compilation name pattern. Paste. File name without suffix. Single track. Same thing. Paste. And now I can say OK. That's how everything's going to be output. Exactly this preview. Always look before you say OK. Then you can see if there's anything you don't like. Go back and change it. So none of my file names are going to be renamed because of what I just set up. And I can output them that way. The only caveat to doing that is it won't find duplicates unless the file names are duplicated. For example, now when I go into this, it kept my remix in here. So it didn't give me any duplicates because some things have different file names, just slightly. That can get rid of the duplicates. So, how would you deal with that? You'd only have to be able to have it change the file name the way it's supposed to, and or add something to it. And these are two different things. So like I said, if you have files that are not named exactly the same thing, it's not going to be able to find a duplicate or suspected duplicate. So, if you don't want to have that happen, you want it to be able to find duplicates or potential duplicates, and you're okay with it maybe making a mistake with the genre or the year or something like that, you can do this a bit differently. Go back to the way we had it, which was this: artist, title, date, the year, and the genre. And he would leave this alone, and he would do the same thing here and here. And that's as simple as that goes. So let's process this again and see what happens. And now we have a duplicates folder again. And there's one song in there. I could deal with that, find out if it's a better version than one I have or not, or a different version. But I can get rid of that if I've determined that. Back. My artists are all laid out this way. Perfectly. And I don't have the album and the number renumbering or any of that. That's all right here in this setup. But let's say I added some music to my original folder before I did anything, and I want to go ahead and process that again. I don't have to start over from scratch. I can do something else. I'm going to go ahead and load that folder up. And I could retag all this if I want to. Now I've reprocessed them all again. And with the automatic tagger. But in that directory, file folder directory, I added one additional file. Now I'm talking about my original source folders, not my output folders. Now I'm going to copy the destination folder. There you go. I added one artist name, and it's not going to update anything else. It's not going to copy anything else. It only is considering what I just added. It's looking at the destination and the file name, and it will only add this new artist, Al Green. And this, as we notice when we say changed our file name pattern, why I don't save it that way until I'm sure of all the things, the genres are correct and the dates, is because this Al Green, Oh Holy Night, my original genre is Christmas music. So it updated this as soul, but it's obviously a Christmas music song. So I'm going to go ahead and output that. Do that now. And then put the Al Green in there. Now here is the same files that I added my originals, and it's updated. And he wondered, if you ever wonder why I've never clicked save or save all, it's because, let's say, back in black here, I'll highlight this one. If I save it, it's going to save it, and update the tags of my original source music files, not the ones, copy the destination file. So that'll update my original. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the one. we go. It wrote audio tag to my original source, A through F, ACD Back in Black, and that now is updated with all the tags and information. That's why I never touch that. I don't want my original source file to be modified. And when I did copy to destination, you know it's creating the Al Green folder under the artists folder. But notice that everything else is duplicate, so it put it into the duplicate folder. I'm going to show you that fun thing right now. Here we are as my output folder, and yeah, it put all the duplicates that it didn't update in there. Because I processed twice, it didn't overwrite my existing. It put it in because they're all duplicates. And I can go ahead and delete those. So the way we made our output is created the folder. I've got all my folders here for individual artists. Sometimes they'll have doubles where it'll be somebody with the same name who's added in Barbra Streisand with Barry Gibb, and that kind of thing will have multiples with that. For example, we have Bryan Adams with Melanie C., Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting. And so that's based on the artist who was listed there. Now I can go ahead and manually just move those in there. I'm not really worried about it. And that's how I get a good control over my collection, music collection.